Good evening. My name is Retired Colonel Gary Meyers. I was born, reared, and educated right here in the city of Columbia. I was blessed, lived in several parts of the city, and also was educated in pretty much all over the city because of course, busing integration during an interesting time in our history. I'm also an international executive. I was the former executive director of Lockheed Martin, which is the largest defense contractor in the world. So I've done a lot of things internationally. The problem of homelessness, how I would define it, the first thing I would defer to the technical definitions of Kirkland and Aaron. I think that those are great definitions. However, how it impacts the community, I think the first thing is visibility. You will hear me in several speeches that I give. I'll talk about the city of excellence, basically taking your resources and making sure that you cover your priorities. Well, anytime you go to a city and you see, in your mind, visible, a large number of people that are not appearing to occupy a residence, it gives you the appearance that the city does not care. It gives you the appearance of instability and lack of safety. And what it also does is it makes you think that you might want to go somewhere else to shop. You might want to go somewhere else to live. So that is the main challenge that we have is the visibility. If people didn't see it on the street and we didn't feel threatened by it, we wouldn't have this forum. It wouldn't matter to us that people were living in crisis, as has been described. It's the visibility aspect. The only way that is ever going to change is the moment we sit down and begin to lay out a plan to fix it. And as of this moment, that has not happened. Thank you.
Mr. Muhammad.
My name is Nemmu Muhammed, and I'm a resident, long-time resident of the city of Columbia. I attended C.A. Johnson High School. I have a wife and one child. I'm an activist, and I've been studying this problem that we have from a historical point of view. You can look back 30 years and you saw, just 30 years ago, we didn't have this homeless problem. This homeless problem is due to the policies that created it. It has nothing to do with the individuals who are now being subjected by it. When we look at the policy the city has, when they do the redevelopment plan, it does not do an impact study and see what impact the redevelopment is having on its population. I understand that we don't need to separate these people into groups. We can do a better job by paying close attention, and I would suggest that any more development, I don't care where, when we're affecting those that are least, that impact be done. And if you decide to say you want to move these citizens out of the city, you should tell them the truth. This is not a game. These are people's lives. I see that when you talk about home, a home is a human right. It's not to be discussed either or. But I'm a little passionate about it, so I'm not going to speak much more on this. Thank you for that.
Mr. Azar.
It's nice to see all of you here. This is a standing room only crowd. I see friends who have great homes, and I see friends who have no homes. I want to thank all my friends who did come from Hannah House, from Christ Central, from the shelter, and from other shelters tonight. Thank you for coming. I'm Joseph Azar. I was born in Columbia. I was born many years ago. I stayed here all my life. My occupation, I started the Cyclist Bicycle Shop when I was in college, and I started Upstairs Audio and Video when I was in college. It's still going on. It's really hard to come after all these because they've answered most of the questions for me. Gary did a great job on that. Aaron and Kirkland Finley on defining what's what. And Mr. Morrison, too, on answering the question. It's just like incarcerating somebody. It costs more to incarcerate somebody than it does to send them to college. We know that. But let me see if I can answer a couple of these things. One time I was homeless. I hate to say it. My mother would be embarrassed if she were here today to hear me. At 5.5 years old, I was thrown out of the house with my mother. And fortunately, we had an aunt to go live with until my mother could get back on her feet and bring me back home when I was 6 years old. The problem is not homelessness per se, it's the issues around it. It's education, it's health, it's domestic violence, it's jobs, it's all those things. Those are the things that we have to solve to get people back in society. Now, someone at our gospel mission, a worker many years ago, told me, this is the case, but again, we do have a chronic homeless problem. 15%, they told me, of our people are chronically homeless, and we warehouse them, and there's nothing else we can do. They may have mental problems, they may want to be on the street, whatever. Otherwise, the others want to do something. I will say that I've addressed this problem for many years. Rick Beatty gave me many ideas, and if you go look in the Free Times a couple of years ago, you'll see articles I've written on it. I would love to talk more about it, and I think my time's up, so I'll refer to everyone else. Thank you.